Hey, I want to invite you guys, if you've been listening to this podcast and enjoying this content and are passionate about protection, you should know that we have an entire library of all of the Protector Symposiums that we've ever done, hosted at protectornation.com. You can go there and you can download those and you can watch every Protector Symposium we've had to date there online, and you can learn protection tactics from some of the most elite trainers in the world from the comfort of your own home. I think you'll be surprised about how much content we actually have there. It's very, very, very reasonably priced, and you can upgrade your protection skills. Remember, protection is not all about the hard skills. 90% of it is all about the software, the programming, the way you see and move in the world to achieve a safer pattern of life. With that having been said, go to protectornation.com, join us there, and learn from the best of the best. Now, enjoy the show.
Boom! What's up, you guys? Welcome to another episode of the Protector Podcast. I'm here with Mike Bauer, man. He is one of the best in his field at what he does, an awesome human. We kick it back and forth. We have similar mindsets, the whole motivation, inspiration. You can tell a person who's worked on themselves, and you can also see how that optimizes them to be successful in everything they choose to do. And Mike Bauer is one of those guys, man. How you doing?
Dude, I am honored, and it is a pleasure to be here with you today, my man.
No, thank you so much. It's an honor. Every time someone hops on this podcast, it's an absolute honor, for me personally, because it's like, dude, thanks for sharing and being willing to contribute to the tribe. I got you here for a very important and specific reason, because the company you work with can provide something that is extremely important on multiple levels to our demographic, man. You mind letting them know what that is?
Yeah, so for those of you who are familiar with USCCA, the United States Concealed Carry Association, I work at the headquarters in West Bend, Wisconsin. It's a company and membership organization of over 750,000 firearm-owning Americans across the entire nation. And our main focus at USCCA, summed up in a sentence, is saving lives. The way that we do that is through education, training, and self-defense liability insurance. It's kind of a fancy way of saying, if you're going to be a protector, you need to make sure to not only have the right tools, be able to use those tools appropriately. And if you ever need to deploy any of those tools, those trainings, make sure that you understand how to navigate the legal second fight, as many people say. And that's where USCCA membership is going to step in to make sure that we take care of helping people out with the before, during, and after as civilians.
Yeah, man. No, I love it. I know people know you guys as they like to think of you as an insurance company, but you guys actually offer so much more than support after the fight. You also offer training, and that's one of the things that I really love about you guys. I get guys asking me all the time, like, what kind of gun should I buy? And I'm a gunaholic. I'm a self-proclaimed gunaholic. And I ain't quitting no time soon. But the real question, we say, rookies spend money on hardware, professionals spend money on software. It's just your training, man. It's so important. And I think it's so cool that with your guys' membership, there are training. You guys give training for pre-fight, for lack of a better term, and then also some protection for post-fight. And it's kind of like a holistic, it's like a membership to like a holistic, value proposition for a protector,
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, man. I mean, as we were talking before, in this moment that we're recording this, I'm visiting family over in Europe. I can't bring my SIG 365 plus one with me, and making sure that I'm able to protect my family. I mean, legally, I guess, I could try, but, I'm going to need to make sure that I have that situational awareness. I need to make sure that I have other tools of use that aren't just that one hammer, so to speak, that might be that firearm. What else do you need with that hammer if you're going to build a whole house house of protection, right? And
Right.
so that's something that is, I didn't understand that growing up as well as I wish I had. And it's certainly something that I hope to pass down to my children by way of being that example and just showing it day to day so that they're wanting to do the same thing. And that's where USCCA is very much in that same mindset of how do we make sure that we're able to help people go above and beyond. It's not just, hey, I own a firearm, I'm ready to go now. No, man, that's just the beginning. Just because you own a car doesn't mean you know how to drive it appropriately.
Right. And even more importantly than that, like deploy it appropriately, like understanding your rules of engagement, understanding how to write that report before you pull the trigger. My man, Vard Freeborn, who wrote the book Violence of Mind. I love it, man. Your mission is to get home, and your mission is to be able to spend your life with your loved ones. We see all these shootings online and we don't get a chance to perceive the consequences, the real consequences that are almost just as dangerous as getting shot in that 7-Eleven. Let's say you employ your weapon improperly and you don't have the different levels of protection and support in place to help you navigate that second fight. You still could lose while you sit in jail and you get divorced and your kids get raised by someone else. And your whole entire life falls apart right in front of you as you fight for your life while you're in prison and dudes are angling on you again in there. So it's like, this is listen to that podcast with Varg that we just did, y'all. You'll understand what I'm talking about. But we act like just because we have the firearm, we're safe. And there's so much that goes into that. The training to win, and the coverage and the levels of protection and support necessary to make sure you get to go home after and stay home. So,
one of the things that I really love of what Varg brings up, I think he has 4 different levels that he talks about, the mental, the physical, the legal, but then there's that 4th one that I really appreciate, the social. And so I think that just comes down to the mindset of a protector, of making sure that are all your bases covered? Have you really dove deep into the things that are the foundation? Because a lot of times it's very easy to do the surface level. As instructors, we see a lot of people that, let's just do the surface level. Let's just do the gun thing. But the great instructors, the really good one, and there's many of them, those are the guys that are going deeper of saying like, look, the gun is cool. We're going to work with that. We're going to run it. But here's some other things we need to foundationally work on as well, because we want to make sure that you're not just, a fake protector. Let's be a real protector.
And not a pretender. You're a protector, not a pretender. And I would go. So, and I love Varg's work is awesome. Much respect. And I would go so far as to say that if you're carrying a firearm with you on your waist right now, and you don't have any plan for that secondary fight, any insurance coverage, any kind of anything, you're quite possibly quite a liability, and we live in a world now where there's case studies. You can look at a number of situations. I know a Marine was just trying to defend somebody and now he's being, he's in hot water. Like there are a lot of cases where someone was trying to do the right thing and they just didn't go home. Varg's story himself, he gets attacked by a bigger, stronger human. He ends up stabbing the guy and he ends up doing, years in prison, so it's almost negligent, I would say, to not be involved with your company or a company like yours if you are in fact carrying a lethal weapon on you. And then even as a human being, it doesn't have to be, we all know the statistics. Blunt objects and fists and feet kill way more people than firearms do every single year. Do you guys' coverage, does it cover that type of thing?
Yeah, when it comes to membership, it's not just going to be specifically firearms related. It would be really, speaking of negligent, it'd be extremely negligent to just say that if you use your firearm, then you've got some protection or some insurance coverage that's available, but anything else, that's out of the question. Well, you and I both know, how many times do you have a firearm on you and there are a million other things to go to first? At the very top, just get out of there. So that's where we want to make sure that people are focusing on the right things. That's why it comes down to as long as you're legally able to possess whatever it is that you're protecting yourself with, you're good to go. I know that you're adding +1 to your family as well. we want to make sure that people are, whatever tools that they're using appropriately to defend themselves, that's going to be there for the aftermath as well.
Yeah, 100%. And I mean, like, just to bring it home, like a young Marine, in Oceanside and San Clemente, and like, I don't know, maybe like you get in fights sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe, if you're the type of person that still goes out to a bar or to these types of places where the probabilities increase. I just don't anymore. But like, like most normal people are going to places and you just don't know. Like, you're at the mall with your wife, you're at the, you're at the Spectrum with your family, or you are out for that nice dinner that you do once or twice, however often you go out, and you get in a fight and you hit someone and they fall down and hit their head because they're stupid and drunk, and you're bigger and stronger and you train, now you have a force encounter that could land you in prison, and you have to think through the equation. So, I'm finding that on this podcast, I'm doing, it's like, I just want them to understand how important this is, man. Being a protector, so much of that is thinking through these equations before they happen in order to mitigate risk factors in your life, and the reality is that there are risk factors that you can see. There are risk factors that you can paint a picture of in your head. And then there's just organic risk to being a human. There's organic risk to wearing, a watch that's expensive, and you don't know when you're going to need these types of things. So having the training to get the information to, use the tool of violence appropriately is huge. And you guys are helping people with that, which I love. But then also thinking through the fact that just because you don't carry a gun, you could end up having to defend yourself. And if that person gets seriously injured or passes, you're in a position where you wish you would have thought through this. It's the same reason we have all the insurances we carry for driving and all ththese other things. It's like you wouldn't get into a car with no training and without any financial support in the event of an emergency.
Super interesting. One of the things that you bring up, that fact of you don't know where you're going to be or anything like that. Yeah. One of our guys, Ricky, I mean, he's from he's from the Southeast, and he was at the mall. This was about 2 years ago, if my time frame is right. It was a little while ago, but he and his wife are at the mall. They're at the food court. They're just eating some food, and all of a sudden, this is a guy who's former law enforcement. He said, Mike, I can't really describe it to you, but there was just this rush feeling of like something is wrong. Yep. And you can still find the footage of this guy at the mall, these two guys that got into an altercation, and one guy starts digging in his bag and pulls out a gun. And so, just pause that whole scenario there for just one moment. And I think it's really important for guys like me 4, 5, 6 years ago when I was starting my family to think, what would I have done in that scenario? Because I had my concealed carry. I had the license from, an instructor that I went through a 4-hour government mandated class that was very simple to go through. My state in Wisconsin, I did not have to fire any shots for qualification. I just had to submit it. And so one of those things where had I been in that situation, I might have, I don't know for sure, but I might have in my mind acted inappropriately because I didn't have the right training, because no one ever told me just because you have a license doesn't mean you know how to operate. You need to get back into those classes and have that one-on-one or that group interaction so that you know how to use that firearm, not just the guy who at 21 years old walked into Cabela's and I said, hey, I've heard this one right here is really good for concealed carry. Can I get that? And I walked out with a Bodyguard 380 with no cleaning kit, no ammunition, no holster. And I thought I was ready to roll, man. I thought I was ready to go. I was the protector. No, I didn't have anything. I didn't know what I was doing.
Weird, bro. It's not weird. It's happening to people all the time, man. I know you. You're listening right now, and you're getting chills because we talking about you. Those gun owners saw you walk in, they're like, yo, I'm finna offload some of these revolvers on this, you know what I'm saying, on this person who doesn't know the game. And then you're like, yeah, they're really good. Not nothing against revolvers, but I just know the spiel, you know what I'm saying? They're really good, they're dependable, everyone else is buying them except for the people that don't know. Anyways. And the OGs, there's some OGs that can run a wheel gun. But anyways, man, and it's a liability. You're walking out with a huge liability because you don't know the rules of engagement and you haven't practiced enough, so dude, this stuff is awesome. So let's dig in a little bit about like Well, first, before we get into the training and what that looks like and how you prepare people, because, I'm big on that, digital and in person, let's dig into why you work for this company. Like, what do you see out there in the field? Where's your passion come from for doing what you do?
Man, so I've got a pretty unique story that I think a lot of people have unique type stories for the places that they work at. For me, I kind of fell into what I do and I learned to love it from falling into it. So hear me out on this. About 6 years ago, I approached an entrepreneur that I knew was going places. And I said that I was interested in having a spot on his sales team. And that entrepreneur happened to be Tim Schmidt, the founder and CEO of USCCA. And when I approached him, I said, I'd be interested in a place on your sales team. He said, Mike, I love the fact that you know exactly what you like, exactly what you want. There is one problem, though. We don't have a sales team. We do, however, have a call center. Yeah, we do have a call center. And so what I was actually able to do is I kind of looked at the opportunity, and I heard recently a quote that I really appreciate, which was, if you want to learn something, you need a mentor. That's the baseline. If you want to be mentored by someone, there's really only two ways that you can do it. Probably a couple others, but they funnel into two ways. Either you pay them with money or you pay them with time. And so what I took the opportunity to do was I paid with time by taking an opportunity that was a lot less paying than maybe I would have liked for a guy who was starting his family and had a newborn second child. And instead, I knew that I needed to there was power in proximity. And so I was able to spend time by walking into this organization and working as a phone sales rep. And man, I'll tell you, I was a USCCA member long before I was in the call center. And I loved the things that came with USCCA membership. However, it was really understanding and hearing the stories of other people that I really fell into what I do. And so about a year of working in the call center, we decided to start as a company our outside sales team that works with instructors, ranges, retailers in the firearm space. And we did a test pilot, and I was able to be one of the three people that piloted this program that now has over 130 sales reps across the country that work with instructors, ranges, retailers. And we do everything from helping them set up their classes to being able to market their own classes better, being able to help people get back into their classes. And of course, part of that is offering USCCA membership to their students as well, and all of their customers. And so to answer your question in a shorter way than I did, I do this because I see the way that a lot of times instructors get into what they do by way of they have this passion and they run on passion. They're fueled by their passion when it comes to firearms training. They're protectors, all of this. But man, there is a big difference between an instructor and a full-time instructor who can also eat and take care of his family. And so when we're able to help some of these instructors and these trainers and these guys go from just having a couple students a month to being able to show them, actually, if we just change a couple things up and we can help out, and you do some of these things here with marketing and the way that you're branding and all of that and getting referrals, you could actually do this full time a lot faster than what you think. But it's going to take you not just being passionate about the firearms thing, but being equally as passionate about the business thing. And the guys that we've been able to help do that, man, changed their lives. And that's the thing that's really fun to watch.
Wow, that's awesome. So helping instructors develop their companies, which then also serves the end user 100% in amazing ways that you can't perceive until you start getting training. And then you realize you realize how much you don't know and didn't know. And you're like, I can't believe I was there, that's huge, man. And watching those business owners grow. So you guys come in and really help these instructors take their game to the next level.
Exactly. It's just like when, as instructors, when a student gets a certificate to be able to give to their state to get their concealed carry, there's so much more that comes after that. And it's the same way when it comes to, we're a national training organization with thousands of certified instructors. But just because you're certified as an instructor doesn't necessarily make you a business person. And one of the reasons why this outside sales team came to be about 4 years ago was because there was just this gap that we had. And we saw that, man, we can help certify instructors, But if they can't get people into their classes or get people to refer or come back to their classes, that's a problem. And so we found a way to mesh the online with the in-person, because true training, you can do the online thing and there's huge value in that, but
Right.
it should always funnel down to getting some in-person training to make sure that you're using the software and the hardware together.
Yep, 100%. That's how I roll, man. Like, come in the door, go through the Executive Protection Training Day program, learn all the soft skills of becoming a protector, learn how to market yourself, learn how to build a business, learn how to not build a business, but learn how to have a successful career. Then come to the hard skills intensive, the immersion course, and the marriage between the two. Because the reality is, we need to upgrade your software, and then we need to upgrade the way you use your hardware. I remember when I started doing this, or come and get the Protector Symposium library, learn all these skills about being a protector, and then come to a Protector Symposium, right? We're getting ready to launch the Civilian Protector Project. Shameless plugs, but it's my podcast. What's up? No, so that's going to change the game. But what you're saying is 100% accurate. When I started doing online training for protection, all the older people in the industry were like, we can't teach EP, you can't teach this, online. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like 80-90% of what we do is intelligence and thought processes and understanding the soft skills of protection. I can have a conversation with a single mom about how to live a safer pattern of life. I can have a conversation with an executive protection professional about how to survive on a detail, retain a detail, operate. And then there's going to come a time where there are just some hard skills. I need to get you out there on paper, and make sure you know your formations and make sure you've retained and can implement. But so much, people think that protection is just about your Judy chop and your karate chop and your trigger pull. And it's like, no, dude, like 80 to 90% of it is like soft skills, your situational awareness, your behavioral profiling, your prior planning, the way you think and move and what you recognize and what you do with the information you're getting from your environment. Like that's 80 to 90% of it. We're not going to get injured because we're like not going to be there, or by the time it goes down, I'm going to be in a position to extinguish or compartmentalize the threat, So I love what you guys are doing. I love that approach to training. People can dig in on their own time. They can get so much knowledge on their own time, and then they can schedule out the time when they're going to come and, put boots to the ground and get after it, which is so super, super dope, right? To be scientific about it. Right. So let's unpack that. Well, let's unpack that a little bit more. Like what does the training kind of look like and feel like? Is it you get a membership and then, you can hop on a back office with modules and then you go out to your local trainer? How does that look and work?
Sure. So we're always adding to it, but ultimately the most broken down way to look at it is we have what's called the Protector Academy. It's online. It is mainly for the fundamentals. That's the main thing that we're doing. We're building that foundation. We are going to, you're not going to see us. You're not going to see a whole lot on there typically of that's anything high speed, low drag. Are there some fun drills? Absolutely.
You guys, helicopters? You guys jump out?
Not yet. I think that's next month though. No, we're the way that we look at things, if you look at all the courses that instructors get certified through us, it's concealed carry and home defense fundamentals. It's emergency first aid fundamentals. There is so much out there that is that very, very deep in the funnel, like high speed, low drag stuff. It has its place. It absolutely has its place. But that is not going to be the thing that we're going to drill down into. What you're going to find is with the USCCA membership is when you go on there, you're going to be able to get the baseline things that you need so that when you go back to that next class, if you've already taken a class, you're going to be able to help retain some of that information. If you've never taken a class, you're going to be able to learn some of that so that when you walk in there, you're not the person that's going to have to figure out which way the magazine goes in, how to load your magazine, all of that sort of stuff. Just some of those basics are going to be so much more simple. And then when you go and start doing your live fire, ideally you've already gone through some dry fire drills so that you understand some of that stuff, but it's just the baseline, it's the foundation. There is tons of opportunity there to be able to go through the 3 different levels to figure out, exactly where you're at. We're going to meet you where you're at, but eventually you're going to want to make sure that we're going to help you find another instructor that it's out there that's an official partner, because we don't want that to be the end all be all. The online stuff is great, but then let's get you in a classroom with somebody who's a certified instructor to take it to the next level as a protector.
Dig it. It's more than just a job. It's a lifestyle, man. You need to be able to protect the people you love or the people that hire you. And that is only done based on your habits when you're not on the clock, or based on the habits you can integrate with your life, you know? So especially if you want to outperform another human being who wants to do you harm, you need to have a higher level of competence, and you will retreat to your baseline level of performance. So if you don't even have a level of performance, you're not training. When the heat turns on, saw it the other night on a detail, you will retreat to your baseline level of performance. And so really I can't stress it enough, having the fundamentals is where you really, 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 you have to be good. Because if you're not a shoot, you can shoot in a parking lot, you can shoot on the move, you can do all the stuff, so I love it. I think it's very prudent that you guys focus there. There's a lot of high speed, low drag, whiz bang stuff that guys will never be able to pull off, and or that doesn't serve people. Mastering the fundamentals is where it's at. What is the so in terms of the value proposition to my tribe and to people who want to take action on this, it's training, and then it's coverage, some type of financial coverage in the event of an emergency. Am I missing anything? Are you guys offering any other products?
So I think there's two different lanes that you can look at it. If you are just a standard civilian that is a firearms owner, you live in the States, you go to USCCA.com, you can become a member, and we got you there on the education, training, and self-defense liability insurance, the baseline stuff.
Use my link that's going to be down here. I got a link down there.
Absolutely. The on top of that, if you are, when we were joking about the instructor thing, if you're an instructor, if you're a certified instructor, if you've got students that you're seeing right now, or you want to be, you want to take that business to the next level, regardless, if you are an instructor that has students already, there are always going to be business concepts. Just like as a protector, you should always be a lifelong learner in business as well. And so if you're already running classes or you're looking to start running classes, USCCA.com/official partner is a space that you can go to reach out and work with our official partner program. And we can start working together to figure out, where are you right now? Where are you trying to get to? And how do we become that extension cord? Do you need marketing? Do you need to put on more classes? Do you just need to be able to help take the curriculum that you already have? If you're a USCCA instructor, we've started batching out our curriculum so that with the concealed carry home defense fundamentals, we had lots of people saying that's great as an 8-hour course, but I want it shorter. And we've broken out into different modules. So you can now do those 1 to 3 hour classes. So you get people in there on a Tuesday evening or Tuesday afternoon for these smaller tidbits that they now can retain easier and be able to do. So again, USCCA.com/official partner. If you're an instructor, if you're someone who's putting on classes, reach out to us. Let's see how we can help you grow that business, because we want to make sure that more people are getting into your classes so they get that protection they deserve.
Yeah. Take that game to the next level. Business, it's how you serve your family, it's how you serve your demographic. This is a value add, and then serve all them with the type of coverage you and I both know they need if they ever have to actually do the stuff. I dig it, man. And then maybe if we could get into a couple, like a case study or something of people that have actually used the coverage aspect of what you guys do. But first, outline what does the coverage entail? Like, I know for me, I love the fact that if my wife has to get to work while I'm at work or something, there's coverage there. We have dogs, there's different things that you guys can help cover that could happen that don't even actually have to do with me. What does that look like for members?
Yeah, if you just go to our website, USCCA.com, it'll show you the most up-to-date. The cool thing is every single year we have seen the membership grow with different limits and different things that even on the education training side without an increase in pricing. That said, the thing that I think is most important for people to understand that a lot of times when people get into this space, that they just are like you said, it's the unknown unknowns that there are when it comes to the aftermath of the self-defense. There's the criminal side and there's the civil side. And so what a lot of people don't understand is that you can win a criminal case, meaning you are justified in your acts of self-defense. You used your training appropriately. You used your tools when first and only appropriately and only to the degree of force that you should have. But then from there, even if you're justified, there are still opportunities where you could become after on the civil side. And now you're no longer fighting for your freedom, you're fighting for your money, your livelihood, future wage garnishments in certain aspects. And sometimes this doesn't even have to be from that person or their family that maybe attacked you. This could be from someone who was just a part of the scenario that had nothing to do with it. They were a business owner. Things can happen. And so that's where USCCA membership can be really appropriate. Even if you are justified in your actions, there's a criminal side and there's a civil side of the legal system that you should be familiar with. And USCCA membership is able to step in and provide insurance for both sides of the equation.
Yeah, no, I love it, man. Ultra smart. Is there any case studies you can talk about that can kind of cause people to feel warm and fuzzy and inspired about how you've protected and helped people in the past? I actually know a guy that has your insurance that got into a shoot, and you guys delivered and took care of him.
Mm-hmm. So let me take you through basically the standard of what would happen. A lot of times people wonder, so if I've got USCCA membership, what should I do? What should I plan for? We talked about how you should plan. And so the cool thing with our USCCA membership is that you get your card, and right on the back, there are aftermath, basically instructions, post-incident instructions, aftermath instructions that you can simply follow. As you know, as many other people know, perfect, exactly. As you know, there are so many things that are going to go through your brain that are basically just going to get your brain to shut down when you're in this critical incident. And so having something that you can follow step by step is very important. And essentially, you're going to make sure that you're calling the authorities, but then from there, there's an 877 phone number that's going to get you to the critical response team. Now, this is a team that is trained in crisis management. They're there not only to help get you connected with your attorney or one of the over 1,000 within the USCCA network, but they're also there to make sure that, speaking of the warm and fuzzies, it's not just you going through this. We talked about Varg Freeborn. There's the social aspect, which means if you've got kids, they're going through this with you. If you've got a family, they're going through this with you. And some of the most interesting stories I've heard from our critical response team is them at 4 a.m. talking through with that 11-year-old, talking about how this is going to work. This is how dad's going to be taken care of. This is who's going to meet him at jail to make sure that as he's going through questioning, he's got an attorney that's going to be able to help him out because he took care of you and the family. And those stories happen all the time. You don't hear about them very often, but I think if there's anything that the critical response team does not get enough recognition for, it's those conversations that they have with the family members as they're going through this. Maybe their husband or the father is going to they're going to be questioned at the station because someone broke into their house and they made sure that they protected their family. Well, they got to be questioned what's going to happen next. And if the family hasn't gone through all that training and it's all up in dad's head, well, who's going to take care of that family? And that's where the critical response team has many times been able to have those conversations with the children, with the wife, with the spouse, to be able to walk them through that. Now, on top of that, of course, there's the part that most people sign up for membership for when it comes to the insurance. It's the attorney. There are so many times that we've had members who have talked about how the attorney is. There's one story where there was a gentleman who was a member of ours sitting in the front, handcuffed, sitting in the front of an officer's car. I don't know why I was in the front versus the back, but he's on the phone with the attorney on speakerphone because that's just how it worked out when he called USCCA and all that. So sometimes these things can happen quick. Sometimes they meet the attorney at the jail where they're being questioned or whatever the case may be. But that is something that's so important, is to make sure that, if you're going somewhere and you need someone who's a professional, who's an EP, you want to make sure a professional shows up, right? Well, that's the same thing when you call the critical response team, is you're going to make sure that you have an attorney who understands what you're going through to be able to help take care of you.
Now, what about like public pretenders? How do we know are these good quality attorneys? Like, do you know anything about the selection process and the quality of those guys?
It's a great question, actually, because not all attorneys are created equal. There's real estate attorneys, there's malpractice attorneys, there's all of this.
Right.
When our critical response team is working with attorneys that are within the USCCA network. Now, again, I do want to emphasize, if you have an attorney that you already want to work with who's in criminal defense and you have a relationship with them and that's who you want to go with, that it doesn't change anything. USCCA membership is also going to be there. There's coverage available for that. But if you're someone like me, especially 6 years ago, before I started working for the company, I wouldn't have had somebody picked out. And so when you call the critical response team, there's going to be people who these attorneys are well-versed in the laws that are going to be local to you. They're going to be people who are focused on criminal defense. They're not just going to be someone who does, malpractice insurance stuff, but then they also do this over here. Their main focus is going to be on criminal defense. We've got someone who's become a personal friend of mine, Dave McDermott in Chicago. He's been doing, I think it's over 20 years in South Chicago that he's been working. And his main thing that he's doing is criminal defense. And one of the things that's interesting with Dave, if you go to his website, is to this date, he has not lost a case for anyone who has claimed self-defense who has their FOID card or CCW card in the state of Illinois, which just think about how powerful that statement is. Again, yeah, so I mean, again, this is just the time of this recording, whatever, but these are the type of attorneys that we want to work with. People who I know myself, if I'm calling, I'm going to feel very comfortable with that attorney who's showing up, regardless of the state that I'm in.
Heck yeah. No, I love it, man. I'm sitting there looking at my card right now. And it's just got prompts, explain. This man tried to kill me. Complaint. I'm compliant. I'm willing to sign a complaint. Evidence. There is his weapon. Witness. Those people saw the attack. And then silence. Officer, I will comply 100%, but first I need to speak with my attorney. So dude, just read the card. And the one that I'll add is, I don't feel well. I need to go to the hospital. That's the other one that we all our use of force training. They're always and that's your, and that helps you start buying yourself time, building your case. Your attorney can meet you at the hospital rather than at jail. And you were just in a violent encounter and that's not normalized for you. So you need to go to the hospital. That's one of our favorite ones. Man, this is awesome. But more importantly than that, I think it's necessary. I've been doing it for years, and any and everyone out there that's carrying a firearm, I think should for sure be doing it for years. I also want to say huge thank you to you guys for running with us and being our title sponsor at the Protector Symposium 6.0 Apocalypse. It's going to be, dude, it's I every year I have to outdo myself. It's like Valentine's Day. I gotta take it higher. And this event, you guys will see the card is amazing. We got Ed Calderon coming back. We got Craig Douglas coming back. We got John Burke, one of the first black belts, Gracie Jiu-Jitsu black belts in the U.S., coming out to train with us. Thomas Coyne teaching bugging out, bugging in, survival tactics. Rick Sweeney is going to be teaching protective driving, pit maneuvers, counter pit maneuvers. All the things that you guys need to survive. We're not just focusing on the guns and weapons tactics. We're focusing on making you a holistic protector, no matter what happens in this interesting world we live in. So come out to that. USCCA will be there giving presentations. You guys can hop on board. Then I wouldn't wait until then, because you don't have a crystal ball and I don't have a crystal ball, and we don't know if either of us are going to be called upon to protect between now and October 6th through the 8th or 9th, depending on what course you take for the Protector Symposium. So real quick.
Let's go back for a minute too. So one of the cool things, I want to give a couple of shout outs here and just some, I told you before we jumped on here, as my backstory, I'm a civilian. I didn't get to go through, not a combat Marine like you. I didn't go through, any LEO school or anything like that. But one of the things that I am extremely good at is I've done a really good job of diving deep onto the things that are most important to me. And I want to tell you that I have learned from my own mentors how important it is to go to events like this, because of, if nothing else, if all you got from this was something that you and I talked about, which was relationship equity, relationship capital. If you're rubbing shoulders with people who have that same mindset of wanting to be the protector of themselves, their family, their loved ones, and those people in their inner circle, I'm telling you right now, just getting in the room, there's so much power and proximity of these relationships that you're going to start. They're going to last for so long that if nothing else comes out of this but the relationships, that is going to be worth it. Now, on top of that, you're going to be getting some of the best education from some of the best instructors in the entire world. We're not just talking about of the state or the states. These are world-renowned instructors that are giving you value that has taken them decades to learn, and you're going to get it for a couple pesos. Come on. All you have to do is show up here. And one of the cool things too, with being the title sponsor and, one of the things that is going to be awesome is if you have anything that, any questions or anything that you heard from this podcast and you want to ask some of the guys from USCCA, we are actually going to be able to be, as you mentioned, some of us are going to be attending there. We're going to be running through that hard skills course as well. So we're going to be right there along with you. So, we're getting sweaty, getting dirty, all that. So if you have any questions and you want to ask someone one-to-one, get that relationship equity started by showing up to an event like this and start having those conversations with the right people in the right rooms. I'm telling you right now, you don't know when that day is going to come. Whatever that day is for you, it is better to do this right now. Now is the right time to show up to an event like this, be in the right room with the right people, and be able to take your life to the next level.
Love it, man. No, 100%. You speak. It's the truth, man. It's getting around the culture, man, of being a protector, seeing what other protectors are like, seeing how they train, getting to know them, like in networking, understanding who's in your area. We added a social media platform to this. So now we have the Protector Nation social media platform so that these relationships you really will have. There's something about training together that makes you. Last time it was like a family, man. We didn't want it to end when I was doing the award ceremony. So nah, man, 100%. Everything you said about that is amazing. What would you say is the hardest lesson you've learned in the game while you've been doing this, helping people with insurance and training and coverage and things like that?
I think the most important thing is for everyone to understand the importance of being a lifelong learner. I think that it's very normal for the way that a lot of times we're brought up, especially in Western culture, with going through and, we go through school and we get a certificate, we get a diploma, we get this and that. And, then you get in the firearms world and you get a certificate or you get something to get your concealed carry and that sort of thing. I think it's important to understand that there's levels on levels. And as soon as you get to a place, you then realize all the things that you didn't know about. And so for me, I think it's always important to be a lifelong learner. And I hope to be, someone who is that example. I mean, last year I read over 52 books. So I want to be that example to other people where I think that you should always be striving to learn. You don't have to, but I mean, I think that that's just something where the people who live the best lives are people who are always looking to learn something more in an area that interests them and in areas that they want to get better. And I think that if there is one thing that is the hardest thing, you can't. Sure, you can help someone change, but they need to make the decision first. And so I would say, what's the most difficult thing? It's getting people to understand the next level of life is so much closer than they think it is by just understanding they need to learn a little bit more.
Yep, 100%. You want a higher quality life? You got to make higher quality decisions. You want to make higher quality decisions? You need higher quality information. And I think that this podcast is that, and that what I'm talking about is a way of life. Your life will elevate at the same frequency and in direct proportion to the elevation of your mind and your thoughts. It's just the way it is, man. It's so beautiful. And being a guy that was just an infantry dude and like really didn't have a lot of tools for success and not two parents and all that, and like being able to watch what I've been able to do as I've implemented that principle, 100%, I love it. And then when it comes to protection, the training that makes it so that you see that encounter, the other guy's playing checkers, you're playing chess, you're 4 moves ahead of them because you have the training, right? So I love that, man. Proudest moment you've had doing what you do?
Man, proudest moment. I would say, very recently has it finally sunk in the amount of just vast experience that I've been a part of over the last 4 years with our outside sales team. And this isn't just to push the official partner program or anything like that. It truly is something where if I look back at where we started with 3 people pulled out of the call center to just go out and within Wisconsin and Northern Illinois, find out ways that the USCCA can help instructors and independent ranges and retailers get better at what they're already doing best, so that we can push people back to them, knowing that at the back end, we'll be able to sell some memberships and be able to help out in that. Just the amount of experience to go from that to now over 130 reps. There's 22 district managers. There's 7 regional managers. There's a whole organization that would fall within the Inc. 5000's fastest growing companies just in the outside sales team. Man, I feel extremely proud to I feel so fortunate to be a part of that and to be able to watch people like, there's a guy from Chicago who's one of my managers now named Matt, who came into this and he was a single guy. He was just selling, I think, copper wires and things like that. And now you fast forward, he learned how to be a better salesperson. Then he learned how to be a manager and leader of people. Now he's got a family with 2 kids. I mean, I think it's so cool watching that, knowing that that entire thing came because we wanted to go out and help other instructors be better at their businesses. And we started with, what can we do for you? That's been something I'm extremely proud to have been a part of.
Dude, I love that, man. And it says so much about your heart, and where your heart is, and that it really is centered on helping people. And which a lot of people, some people might be listening and be like, oh, that sounds so altruistic and whatever. But like, dude, you guys don't realize it. Like, it's more blessed to give than receive. When you start really contributing to people's lives and watching them elevate because of your impact or influence, I don't care. I have been with billionaires since 2008. There's nothing more gratifying than watching someone's life, especially that you care about or that has trusted you with decisions, elevate. When my guys go through our training, then they get the careers they want. And they're like, dude, I was able to buy presents for my family this year because I've never made this. And now I'm making enough money to take care of them. Like, my whole dream when they come to me, they're like, I hope this works, man. I just really want to get in the industry and have a good job. And then they get in and they're like, oh my gosh, man, you changed my life. Nothing better than that. Like, that's why we fight, man, helping people really elevate their lives and getting them what they need, man, before they even know it, because we've been downrange, we're doing this work and seeing the fallout and all that. I love it, man. Good stuff. Outstanding. Well, I think we could, is there anything else you want to hit? You want to fire off before we bounce?
I just hope that people understand how important it is that they sign up for Protector Symposium 6.0. I think that's the main thing that people need to understand, the importance of this event. And man, in all seriousness, we're extremely proud to be a part of it. And we thank you for having us along on this journey, man. It's going to be awesome.
No, 100%, man. 100%. That's why I chose you guys. I know you're going to deliver. I love the holistic nature of what you offer, that it's not just the financial coverage component, but it also is the training with that membership, you guys. So it's like, you can go with a company where you just get some type of financial coverage and insurance or whatever, or you can go with a company where you get access to training and a huge, administrative support group and all these different assets. It's like kind of a no-brainer. And if you're carrying a firearm, you are carrying a tool that can save your life, but can also wreck every other component of your life, and put you in a really bad spot and hit the reset button on your life. So the liability with that, it's like driving without car insurance. You need to do something. And this is something I'm saying is a good something. So go down into the comments, hit the link that accompanies this podcast. If you haven't already, let's get you covered. And I look forward to seeing you guys at this upcoming Protector Symposium 6.0 Apocalypse. It's going to be amazing. Mike, dude, you're an amazing human. You're a monster. I see so much in you, man. You're going to go so far. I really do. And you're already doing such amazing things, man. You're hungry, and I don't see that hunger in many people because I've had it. I don't know. God give it to me. But I love it when I see that, man. You're going to wreck shop out there. You're doing awesome, dude. It's an honor. So thank you, brother.
Good, brother. Let's do this again soon.
Oh yeah. This is just the beginning. We're both so young. It's like they don't even we just warmed up and just unwinding, it's a celebration. Awesome. Heck yeah. That's it. Boom.
Boom! Quick shout out to our sponsor, Staccato, my first pistol sponsor. I've been sponsored by a lot of companies, right, over the years. But when it comes to pistol, that's my bread and butter. Pistol is something I believe in. I'm a competitive shooter. We're shooting anywhere from, 800 rounds a month type of thing, right? So Staccato, being what I believe, is one of, if not the most complete handguns you can put in your hand. It's got every component that a handgun could have, should have. They're actually extremely dependable now that they've made some changes, and these things are straight up tack drivers. If you're looking for a pistol that will do as much of the work for you as a piece of hardware can, obviously you have to have the marksmanship and all the different things, but different guns perform at different levels. And I want to say that Staccato is one of, by far, for sure, take it from a competitive shooter, we're shooting the highest volumes of rounds constantly right now. Not used to have a background guy, but like right now, when you go shoot, you're gonna see certain brands. Staccato is one of, if not the highest performing firearm that is both CCW, duty ready, and also competitive ready. So I want to give them a shout out. If you guys are looking for a good handgun to build your skills on top of, go check out Staccato. Much love and respect. Boom. Yo, what up? I hope you guys really enjoyed that episode. Hey, listen, in order to get more out of the brand, I want to encourage you to go join us on our social media platforms and join us at protectornation.com. We post different types of content on our different platforms at different times. You'll get blog posts, you'll get videos, you'll get real world combat engagements and things like that. So stay plugged in order to get the most out of the brand. In order to support us, also go to protectornation.com and buy something, or join forces with me on Patreon. You'll scroll down the homepage and you'll see the link. Anything you can give counts. You know, think about whatever you would lose in your cushions or like spend on McDonald's this month, $5 a month, whatever it is. That helps us make the world a better place by making good people dangerous. Anyways, this is Byron Rodgers, protector by nature and by trade, and I'll see you on the next piece of content, whether it's a video or podcast. Out.